My topic is Huntington's disease. This is represented by the blue ribbon. Huntington's disease is a mutation resulting in the breakdown of nerve cells in the brain. It is not sex-linked, which makes it autosomal, and it is a dominant gene, so only one copy of the gene is needed to cause the disorder. It is commonly inherited from only one parent. Here are some examples of Punnett squares with different genotype combinations. The first one is both parents being homozygous for the trait. There is a 100% chance of the child having Huntington's disease. In the second one, both parents are homozygous for not having the trait, so there is no way that their child will have Huntington's disease. In the third one, both parents are heterozygous for having Huntington's disease, and there is a 75% chance their child will have it and a 25% chance that they won't. In the fourth one parent is homozygous for having it and another is heterozygous, also having it, so there is still a 100% chance that their child will have Huntington's disease. In the fifth and final one is homozygous for not having Huntington's disease, and another one is heterozygous. In this one, it is a 50-50 chance of whether or not their child will have Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease is located on the 4th chromosome, and it is caused by the HTT mutation. The HTT mutation causes the CAG trinucleotide repeat. In normal genes, it is repeated 10 to 35 times, but in a gene affected by Huntington's disease, it is repeated 36 to 120 times. As you can see in this picture, this is what it would look like in a normal gene, and this is what it would look like in someone with Huntington's disease. While in Huntington's disease, the CAG trinucleotide repeat is repeated 36 to 120 times. Symptoms only occur in someone with 40 plus repetitions. Symptoms and effects. Many describe the symptoms of HD as having ALS, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's all at the same time, so it is not fun at all. 3 things are affected in Huntington's disease: movement, cognitive ability, and psychiatric qualities. In movement, it is common to find jerking, muscle tension, slow movements, and everyday tasks become more difficult than they should. Cognitive abilities include difficulty with focus and learning, and their impulse control becomes weakened. For psychiatric, it is common to find depression, insomnia, and they become socially awkward and aren't comfortable in big social situations. In this image, this would be a brain of someone without Huntington's disease, and this is a brain of someone with Huntington's disease. This is the part mainly affected, and you will see another picture explaining that further later. Huntington's disease is found in every 3 to 7 people for every 100,000 people of European ancestry. It impacts more than 1 million Americans. It is most common in European populations and less common in others, but it can still be found in other populations and ethnicities. As of now, there is no known cure for Huntington's disease, but there are many medications that can help manage symptoms. Genetic testing is available for Huntington's disease to see whether or not symptoms might occur later in life. There are also many other options for having kids, as someone with Huntington's disease usually refrains from having children as they do not want to pass the gene along to other future generations. There is vitro fertilization and pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, which basically controls whether or not a future child will have the genetic disease by controlling which egg is fertilized and how. The life expectancy and some other information. Once symptoms begin, it is expected for someone to live 15 to 20 years. This is the brain affected, as I hinted to earlier. The location of Huntington's disease is in the basal ganglia of a human brain, as you can see here. Other information: it is a huge responsibility to be a caregiver to someone with Huntington's disease. They will have to work with doctors, and they are responsible for helping them with everyday tasks that they used to be able to do by themselves. And they must be patient as a caregiver, because someone with Huntington's disease will have to work a lot harder, and it's just very important to be patient. Some extra information: there is also a type of Huntington's disease known as the juvenile form, and that is Huntington's disease in children. It occurs in children and during adolescence. The life expectancy for someone with the juvenile form is 10 to 15 years after symptoms develop, rather than 15 to 20. It is common for kids with the juvenile form to struggle in school, as when having Huntington's disease, it is a lot harder to focus. 30% to 15% of children with Huntington's disease will have seizures, as it is a common symptom. Other symptoms include slow movement, reduced coordination, rigidity, and impaired speech. This is my works cited, and these are my cited pictures. Thank you.